Your favorite man in all of wrestling was up next with his triumphant return interview. Cody did a promo with Dasha doing the... Dasha doing the microphone holding. I know Cody likes to dress up and professionally in suits and look like a star, but as somebody... Maybe Brandi forced this one on him. He was dressed up like he just left a casting call for the part of Frank Nitti in the remake of The Untouchables. What the fuck was that? So,
I like the idea too. I'm really mad now, so I'm no longer blonde.
Yeah. There's no way I could calm down enough to bleach my hair the last month. But no, we have had, you and I, discussions in the past, and I've said I like Cody's promos. I see, even though that's not the content of Dusty's as far as the exact verbiage, I see the ebb and the flow and the cadence and the emphasis put on certain lines. I see that coming out in Cody a lot. I like Cody's promos. He's well spoken. He uses a lot of great words. He imparts a naturalness to it. You have said that most of them, for your taste, are too theatrical and movie-like, and it's like he's auditioning for a part in a major motion picture sitcom.
I wouldn't say most of them, but I think it is something that happens a lot.
It's something he goes into.
Where it seems like he's taking whatever he learned in his acting classes and applying it to a wrestling promo, and it just seems completely disingenuous. Usually he'll look down and start moving his hands around, and it looks like, this is what I rehearsed. I got to remember what to say right now. I will say, before we finish this, I thought there were elements of that in this, but by the end of it, that was a fantastic promo by Cody by the end of it.
Well, wonderful, because this was my least favorite, and I was going to put you over for I finally see what you're talking about.
Come on.
But here's the thing. It was all the things that I said. He's well-spoken and it's good material, but it was a big bush that he was beating around at the start. He talked about the TV show that he got a chance to be on, but he was thinking at the same time about him getting beaten 3 minutes and everything else going on. He was beating around the bush. And then when he gets to Brodie Lee, and then the dog collar match that we still don't know where this came from. Neither one of these guys are known for their dog collar match. It's not like Dusty and his bull rope match. Nobody was hung by the neck. Nobody is blind where they have to be tied to their opponent so that they can't get away from them because they can't see them. Any explanation for a dog collar match or setup for a dog collar match that have ever been done before? Nothing. It's just Brodie Lee on an interview asked somebody off camera to hand him a dog collar, and that was the challenge. And then Cody says, as an executive vice president, no, and walks out. And then, actually, I thought I knew the line he was going to say, and he didn't say it when he came back in. I thought he was going to say, but as a wrestler, I say yes. But he did the very downbeat no, walked out, dramatically paused, dramatically turned, came in, and was mad and screaming and ready to pop a vein where he says, I said no to the idea of turning down the match or whatever the fuck. It was unwieldy. But he had a lot of fire when he was back in and hot accepting it, but this was where it hit me what you've been saying, that this was a contrived way for him to have said this. It didn't come naturally to me.
I agree with you, but I do think, I guess because that was the most fired up I've ever seen him during a promo in AEW. And I like that because it stood out. It's like, wow, this is a little different than what he usually does.
Yeah.
You see his eyes bulging a little bit. You know, you can see that he's really getting himself worked up. That part of it I liked. The rest of it, I completely agree with you. It was him doing contrived practice Cody. The leaving and coming back didn't do it for me. But when he came back, that part of the promo I loved.
Well,
because that's how angry he should be at the guy who just fucking took him and everyone else out.
But I was about to say, from the penthouse to the outhouse. Yes, I agree with you. That was the kind of animosity, if you will, that Dusty used to show when he went over the top and he got hot at somebody. And I like that part, yes. But they can't ever leave well enough alone. Here comes Brodie Lee out, old boring Brodie, for the big fight. And instantly, 25 guys are on his tail to do the pull apart. We've mentioned it a million times. Either somebody is out there being sodomized over and over again with a giant whale phallus, to absolutely no one coming and trying to stop it, to the guys are on somebody's tail and they're in the ring by the time that the fucking instigator is. And horrible punches. Go back and look at Brodie Lee's punches. Cody's weren't anything to write home about, but just horrible fake punches they're throwing in the direction of each other because all those guys, nobody showed them how to have a pull apart. Nobody showed them how to stagger the fucking guys running in. They all came in a clump and got in the way of everything. You had too many for a good pull apart. More is not always better unless it's in an orgy. Too many guys for a good pull apart and too many inexperienced green guys that have never been taught how to play their part in a pull apart. And so they got in the way. The break loose spots could have been more spectacular with less people in the way. And if they'd have planned it out a little better, Cody should have broken loose and if anybody was going to do a dive in the whole show, which everybody else did, Cody should have broken loose and done a fucking dive. This may be where you would have put it. But anyway, the worst thing was...
I already know.
While all this is going on, 25 guys trying to keep Brodie Lee and Cody Rhodes from killing each other, here comes Brandi toddling out, comes out the fucking entranceway, across the stage, across the ring, with expressionless face, not like mad, I'm going to kill the people that are hurting my husband. It's like, I better get to there because my spot's coming up. Goes up to the top rope and cannonballs the entire Dark Order, including Brodie Lee, who catch her and make sure she's okay, and then all collapse at the same time. Then Anna Jay comes because she can hit Brandi. She hits Brandi. Brandi no sells that whatsoever, and they have a sloppy girl fight, and they bring out girls, and they have a girls pull apart. And if you think the guys didn't know how to have a pull apart...
Who was Nyla Rose fighting with?
Well, that's, I guess, somebody that owed her some trans. Apparently, because suddenly in the middle of the girls pulling Anna Jay and Brandi apart, Nyla Rose comes over the rail and just starts kicking the shit out of some random girl there for whatever reason. And so the girls are on the floor distracting from the big pull apart and making it all silly and phony because the men's pull apart didn't look that good and the girls' pull apart was really bad, and it went on for fucking ever. And Brodie Lee was the one that kept coming back. And no, you want the baby face gets held back and the heel starts to leave and the baby face breaks loose and tackles the heel. And then when they get the fucking baby face corralled, the heel goes and takes a fucking cheap shot and tries to run away, but the baby face breaks loose again. This was all goddamn ass backward and fucking toes and ears. Anyway, your thoughts.
I like Cody's fired up promo, like I said before.
Cody and Brodie.
And then Brodie comes out. You know, if he called himself Brody Rhodes, he probably can get around WWE stopping him from being Cody Rhodes. But anyway. And then the first time they went at it, it was all right. Like you said, the heel's the one who kept coming back in the ring to get more, which made no sense. The Brandi Rhodes thing was fucking ridiculous.
Wow.
We make jokes about the fact that she has to find a way onto every single show. It's one thing standing in the corner while Dustin's in the ring and clapping. It's another thing having to get a spot where she takes out the entire group of undercard heels by doing a slow motion cannonball dive off the top rope to the floor. That was completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. There are plenty of guys who've had their wives or girlfriends on TV as their valet or get involved in the wrestling business. This is ridiculous. The fact that they keep shoving her down everyone's throat, and she's a heel, she's a babyface.
Do you remember Wahoo McDaniel taking any bumps for Precious in that feud he had with gorgeous Jimmy Garvin?
No, I don't. Ridiculous.
Well,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, though. It's ridiculous. Who has to be the one to say no? Is it Cody? Is it Tony? What are the other EVPs emailing to each other about what they think about Brandi constantly getting involved in this stuff? Inquiring minds want to know.
Get somebody on that. Why don't you?